Welcome to Everyday Linux User, and welcome to episode 4 of I Tried It So You Didn't Have To. And in today's video it's Emmabuntus. Forgive me if I pronounce that wrong, the developers. This distribution has been around a while. The website says it contains a large number of modern software pre-configured for everyday use and home use. And it promotes the discovery of the GNU Linux environment for everyone thanks to its 3-level dock: Expert, Beginner and Charge. Now, Emmabuntus is also a charitable organisation, and they are looking to repurpose old and used computers to have a lightweight Emmabuntus distribution on it to aid people in Toga so that they can use computers in their community. So if you have an older computer and you'd like to donate it, it says for help from French and Belgian internet users, then you can contact them on this page. So in this review we're going to be looking at Emmabuntus. I've tried it in the past. I'm not sure how much it's changed in the last few years. It wasn't my favourite at the time, but I appreciate what they're trying to do. So in this review, as all the others, I'm going to do it in a virtual machine rather than actual hardware. But if you want to download it, you can click this download here and you click on distribution, and then you can do direct download from SourceForge, or you can do torrent links. So it's 32, the 64-bit, and these are Debian 12, or you can do Debian 11 versions as well. So I've gone for the Debian 12 64-bit version, and if we look at distrowatch.org and search for Emmabuntus, you can see it's down in 69th position in the rankings. So I have downloaded Emmabuntus, and I'm going to open my virtual machine. I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to create a brand new machine, call it Emmabuntus, put it on my SSD, the virtual machines, new folder, like that. And it's Debian based, and we'll give it as much memory as I can, and we're going to give it 25 gigabytes of hard drive space. Click on settings, system, processor, whack that up, and we're going to go to display and whack that up and click OK. Now we're going to click Start. We're going to add in the Emmabuntus ISO and then click Start. And so you can choose the language you want to use. I'm going to choose English. Try without install, or install using Calamares. I'm going to choose that option. So here we are, the welcome screen. It uses XFCE, but you can switch to LXQT if you want to. I'm going to continue XFCE. And the full screen mode works straight away, so we don't have to worry about that. We can switch the mapping, so United Kingdom. Click apply to that, and close that. And we're ready to install. Oh no, it's got desktop configuration things as well. I'm just going to click OK to that. Please select the dock, so you can choose whether you want for those wanting access to all application, for newbies and my dear old aunt, and for children and beginners. Let's see what simple looks like. Wow, that's using Cairo dock, and then you're at the welcome screen. I'm going to click close here because what we want to do is install it, and we'll do the proper review So you can go for OEM installation or classic installation. Go for classic. British English. It's already chosen where I am. I've already chosen my keyboard layout. And as with all virtual machines, I'm going to choose a raised disk. If you're doing this to an actual drive, make sure you've backed up anything you've got previously, otherwise it will get lost. And then create a user. And this is fairly similar across many distributions. And click next, and then we can click install now, and it will now take about 15-20 minutes to install Emmabuntus. So that's it, Emmabuntus is installed. I'm going to click done and it's going to reboot the computer. So have to remove the device and then do machine reset, and then you get to this menu here. So we're now installed, and you're getting asked the same questions you were during the live installation. So do you want LXQT or XFCE? I'm going for XFCE. And you can choose the wallpaper of your choice. You can choose the menu. So you've got classic or whisker. I'm going to go for whisker. Screensaver of your choice. You can go Ubuntu, Emmabuntus or off. That doesn't really matter to me. Actually, I'm going to go for this one. I quite like the look of this. You can have text to speech at system startup. I'm not going to have that. And enable automatic login. I'm not going to have that. I do not like that option. But I'll click OK. And then you've got this Cairo dock option. So activate the dock, yes or no. Activate the taskbar. Activate a dark theme. I'm actually going to not do that. And click OK. And then you can choose the dock version, all for those wanting access to all applications, simple for newbies, and my dear old aunt, and basic for children and very beginners. I'm going to go for the simple option. Then ask, would you like to install non-free software on the system? So I'm going to install the codecs. I'm going to install the fonts. So I may as well said yes to all of them, and I'm not going to show that next startup. I click OK. Because I'm in a virtual machine, it connected the internet at startup, and it connects as a wired connection. We'll talk about Wi-Fi a bit later on. And you see down here you've got a dock, so you've got home, Firefox. I don't know what communication that is. I assume it's some sort of email client, Office suite of some sort. All the different options down here, and then a bit further on after the help, you've got the workspace 2 that you can go to, or 1, 2, like that. Show the desktop. You've got an applications menu like that. Shortcuts. Which gives you access to your drives, and then log out and the trash can. And up here in the top left corner you've got the whisker menu, so you can find everything you want there. I'm going to let it continue installing the fonts while I talk. Let's have a look what applications you've got. Well, it's popped up another message here, so presumably it's finished with the fonts. Do you want to remove unnecessary languages in the distribution? So yeah, I don't need all of these. And it says, do you want to install the complements of the language? And again, I'm not going to show this as a startup. So there's a lot of little setup menus. But back to the applications. Under development, you've got Genie, which is a lightweight IDE, education, got a few things there, LibreOffice for schools, Scratch, Tux Math and Paint, and an educational game. Under games, we've got a Logic game. You've got Steam already installed by the looks of it. SuperTux, Sudoku, and a simple constructor game called Potato Guy, and of course Mines. Under graphics, quite a lot already installed. Under graphics you've got Darktable, which is for developing images from digital cameras. You've got a drawing utility, GNU image manipulator, Inkscape, LibreOffice Draw, so I assume the whole LibreOffice suite is installed. Scribus, which is a desktop publishing suite. Under Internet, we've got, I have no idea what Chatons is, parental control installer, remote access tool, Falcon, which is a web browser. You've also got Firefox web browser, FileZilla for downloading FTP. So much here. There's a private YouTube client, Gpodder for connecting to iPods. And we've got some voice clients. We've got Thunderbird email, so I'd imagine that's what that is under communication. You've got the transmission BitTorrent client, so there's lots installed there. Under multimedia, we've got a CD Ripper, Audacity, Clementine. You've got GSpeech, which is a text-to-speech program, which is good for accessibility. Handbrake for transcoding DVDs to MP4 format and other formats. Media player, Kdenlive for video editing. It's going to continue asking me more questions. So, do you want to install the parental control software onto your computer? So, I think we're down in multimedia. We've got another audio player in Quadlibre. We've got Radio Tray, a Tux guitar, VLC media player, focus screen for recording screencasting, and XFBurn for burning DVDs. Huge amount of software installed by default. No free softwares. So we've got the audio codecs, turbo print installer. Under Office, we've got AbbeyWord, Ancestry, which is genealogy program, Calibre, which is ebook manager and writing software, ebook editors, ebook viewers, HP Lip address books installed, Numeric, which is a spreadsheet application. Got the full LibreOffice suite and a PDF viewer, arranger. Under Science, got Numeric, and then we've got some settings tools as well. And we've got Emmabuntus configuration tools. We'll look at those later on. Flatpak Manager, we'll look at that later on. There's so much installed, so much. And we've got system tools as well. I think we might finally be at the end of the installer. I'm holding off saying that. Let's look at hardware support. So I've installed a USB Wi-Fi dongle, so we're going to turn that on, and we'll do the same for Bluetooth. Like that. Now up here, if I go to the network, available networks, you can see that's worked okay. So we can definitely connect to a Wi-Fi network. If we look for Bluetooth,
Bluetooth mode.
it's finally finished the welcome, I think. So this is the welcome screen. We'll minimize that. Should Bluetooth get enabled automatically? Yes, it should. And if we click search, you can see it's found my wireless speaker. So if I double click on that,
Connecting.
it says it's connected, and we'll go to Firefox. Whether you're using Slackware, it should work on all distributions. So in this guide I'm going to show you how to set up Flatpak for your computer and your Linux distribution. Now I'm not going to show you every single distribution, but I'm going to show you how you can find out how to do it for each. As you could hear, that worked okay. So let's look at printing. Click add, go for network printer, find network printer, and there it is, HP OfficeJet. Click forward, click apply. I don't want to print a test page, but you can see that's connected. So hardware support is perfectly good. When it comes to installing applications, the first thing that's worth mentioning is, do you really need to? I mean, it's got every application you could possibly want already installed. We've got audio packages, video packages, photo managers, everything's already installed by default. But let's have a look at we've got a no-free software installer, Synaptic Package Manager, and a Flatpak Manager. So we'll start off with the no-free software installer, see what that gives us. And that's just for your codecs and stuff like that. So we've seen that already, so we can click cancel on that. The next one we'll look at is the Flatpak Manager. And all that's doing is taking you to the flathub.org webpage, and you're going to get a list of all the Flatpaks, I believe. It is indeed. So if I wanted to install Chrome, for instance, I can click on here and click on install. You can also click on that download there and click and just click that, and then if you open a terminal and paste that in, that would work as well. If I click open there, it's going to open the software manager, and I can just click install from there. And what I felt this system needed was yet another web browser to go with the two I already had, which is why I'm installing Chrome. And what we can also look for then is, that looks like GNOME software is also installed on this system. It is indeed. So Synaptic, you've got the Flatpak thing, you've got the codecs thing, and you've got GNOME software. You can install whatever you like, it's going to be available. I'm not sure what else there is to install. Let's say you wanted to install Spotify, you go here and you can click install. And we may as well, because we haven't got enough applications on this computer, I don't feel. Now this thing at the bottom is called a Cairo dock, and it can be configured to work the way you want it to. So if I right click, I can add more applets, I can configure it. So if I went to themes, there's all these other themes that you could add in. So for instance, if you prefer this theme here, you could apply that, and that's what your dock now looks like. So you can use this to amend how the look and feel of your dock within Emmabuntus. Of course you don't have to. The trouble is now it's lost the applications menu at the top, so that's not necessarily a great theme to have. If I go for light grey simple, it gets rid of that dock, and it's actually quite a nice looking dock, so we can close that. Now you don't have to have Cairo dock on at all. You can, do you want to disable the Cairo dock, you have to enter your password. And then it's gone, and then you can use Emmabuntus as it is. But if you want it back again, you can deactivate it. And there you go. As I mentioned before, Steam is installed. It's actually a Steam installer as opposed to Steam being installed. So if I click OK on that, it should now install Steam. And interestingly, it's not using the Flatpak, it's going to get the Debian package. Whilst that's doing that, we'll look at some of the other things. So you've got Emmabuntus desktop configuration, so you can activate the taskbar. We'll drag this to the side while Steam's doing its thing in the background there. You can activate dark themes, activate sound events. Activate sound events, enable automatic security updates, launch update your web menus, etc. from there. So that's a small desktop configuration tool. And these are Emmabuntus tools. So you've got Ventoy if you want to create a USB drive. You've also got USB creator and USB formatter. Maintenance, I'm not sure what beach it is, so let's have a look. It looks like it cleans folders and packages and histories and things like that. You've got boot repair tools. You see Chrome's now available, ready to install. So under Internet, Chrome's there. I can drag this into here if I want to. And now it's available on this panel here. Boot repair tools, you can remove the languages, there's disk information. You see out of my original 25 gigabytes there's 11 gigabytes free, so despite installing all that software, still got quite a lot of space left. There's Cairo docs, tearing, installation of non-free software, there's printing configurations, utilities, Flatpaks. Everything you could want is available for configuration, and near enough every type of software you could possibly need is also installed as well. And Spotify is now available as well, so that's that. You can see some of the French elements of this. I have no idea what that's telling me. So under here, under the internet section, you've got this thing called Chatons, which takes you to this webpage here, chatons.org. It says Chatons, kitten in French, is a collective of hosters' alternative, transparent, open neutrality and solidarity. It aims to bring together structures offering free, ethical and decentralized online services in order to allow users to quickly find alternatives that respect their data and privacy, compared to the services offered by Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, the big players. Chatons is a collective initiated by the association Framersoft in 2016, following the success of its campaign De-Googlify the Internet. Now what's interesting, if you look here, the default search I believe is Lido. And what you can see throughout Emmabuntus is the French influence. You're never that far away from it, which is great for many people around the world who have primarily French as their first language. It's given them an alternative to all the other English-speaking distributions that are primarily aimed at English speakers. I think this is just a collection of sites that you can use to do certain things, like Nextcloud for cloud storage. I'd have thought. I'm not sure what PeerTube is. Let's have a look. So if we look at some of the other internet apps, we've got this thing called Framesoft services, so let's have a look at that. It's all about de-Googleizing the internet by the looks of it. And I've just Googled it by installing Chrome. So I think these are sort of like alternatives to use instead of the Google Docs suite. Like mind maps, forms, slides. I'm not sure how you actually click to use them. There doesn't seem to be anything to actually click. So I tried to install the FreeTube, that didn't work. We've got video conferencing software, Radio tray is good. Gives you a list of internet radio stations of different varieties, whether it's pop or rock or jazz. So one thing I want to do is try out the parental control thing. It won't actually let me connect. I had to try so many passwords whilst setting it up. I'm not sure I remember what the username and password is. So as you can see, Steam's now installed and that's up and running as well. So I'm going to summarise Emmabuntus now. Installation was easy. There's loads of applications installed. There's actually multiple applications of the same type installed. So I'm not sure if that's a good thing or whether you consider that bloat. Installing software is easy. There's multiple ways of doing so. You've got the GNOME software manager, you've got a Flatpak manager which takes you to the website, and you've got Synaptic. You can always use apt if you want to. So easy to install software. Hardware works out of the box, and there's multiple print systems as well. So where I had a problem with WatchOS where it didn't have any print system installed, Emmabuntus goes the other way. There are lots of configuration settings when you're first starting up. It asks you how you want to configure your docs, how you want to configure languages, how do you want to configure many different things about the system. You've got the Cairo dock, which is quite a nice dock at the bottom. Finding stuff is really easy. You can just click in the menu and say you want to search for audio player. You can see it's picked up Audacity and Quadlib, and it didn't pick up Clementine for some reason, even though that is installed. But if I search for Clementine, you can see that's there as well. So maybe if I search for music instead, you can see it's got all the things that are music based in there. There's so from a user point of view, that's really good. There's a lot of for an English person, there's a few French titled programs still in there, and if you click on some of the links, it takes you to websites that are mainly French in nature, which is fine. It's a French based distribution, so I'm not going to complain about that too much. It's actually really easy to use. It probably doesn't deserve to be number 69 in the list. It probably deserves to be a lot higher than that because it is really useful, and from an everyday Linux user's point of view, you're probably not going to hit too many problems if you used it. And the fact that it's got so much software installed to start with is actually probably quite a good thing for the new users, and even for everyday Linux users. It's some of the things to do with the de-Googleization. I'm not sure I'm with or against that. I'm a Chrome user. I like using Gmail and Google Docs and things like that. So I'm not anti big business particularly, but I understand some people do like to use the free services. So if that's you, then Emmabuntus is for you as well. So all in all, it's actually pretty decent. I'm not going to knock it at all. If you want to use it, feel free. It's quite a good thing to try out in a virtual box, see if you like it, and if you do. It is Debian based, so you are just basically using Debian with XFCE desktop, but they've added enough features to make it so that it's not just pure Debian. The fact is you do have all the hardware support, and you do have all the applications installed by default. You do have the theming installed, so whilst it's Debian based, it's doing enough to make it its own distribution in its own right. So it's more than just a respin. So on that note, I'm going to leave the review there. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time on Everyday Linux User.